All right, everybody, welcome here. We have a great session. We have a great session packed. Just doing a mic check. Let me know if the mic is working. Let me know if the mic is working. What's going on, Robert? Good morning. Jonathan, good morning. Patricia, good morning. We have Arthur in the house. Bob, Daniel, I see you there. Brian, Danielle, Diane, good to see you here. Barayi, Greg, what's going on, Greg? We got Hemmings in the house. Jeremy, Josh, Ken, Larry, what's up, Larry? Patrick, Patricia. All right, folks, we're gonna let a couple more people in here, all right? But we will be starting here. Mr. Horvitz, great talking with you today, man. Let's see you here. Ryan, what's going on? So yes, just doing a quick mic check here, making sure this thing's working. And we're gonna be starting here in about 5 minutes, okay? With lead trader from the Options Inner Circle chat room, Nick Chahine. You guys already know him. So he's gonna be here in a few. Right now, he's just wrapping up a session he does this live session every Sunday. It's not this, right? Don't get it confused. It's like a member session. So he's typically done by 12:50. So we're gonna wait for him to come in a few minutes. What's up, Bob? So once Nick comes here, just make sure, folks, we will be talking about trade ideas, options education, setup, strategies, credit put spreads, iron condors, butterflies, diagonals, calls and puts, technicals, micro industry and macro sector analysis. So it is a packed session. I wish everybody would have a chance to be here with us. But if you're here, you're one of the lucky ones. We'll be starting here in about 5 minutes, folks. We'll see you here in a few. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the session. My name is Rodrigo. I'm going to be here with Nick Chahine, lead trader from the Options Inner Circle chat room. A lot of you guys already know him. He just got off the session, so we got the green light. But heads up, right? A schedule of what we will be doing. Brian, Rialme, Bob, Francisco, good to see you guys. We will be going over trade ideas, option setups, the options chain, credit put spreads, iron condors, butterflies, a whole bunch of different strategies for options that you can learn in your personal trading, that you can improve. And Nick's going to show you a couple other things there, right? We're going to talk about the sectors, markets, a whole lot of things, right? So big shout out here. We got George in the house, Greg, Ken, Margot, Neil, Nikki, Paul, Roman. All right, we got a couple hundred people here. I can't shout out everybody, but you definitely don't want to miss this. So I think we have Nick Chahine in the back. Let's go ahead and bring him on here.
Damn, son, where'd you find
I am here. I am here.
Mr. Nick.
Hey. What's going on?
Yes, man. How was the meeting that you had there right now?
Pretty good. Today we plowed right through it. And it took shorter than usual. We had over 100 tickers. I don't remember exactly how many, but I wasn't interrupted and we plowed right through. So it was a pretty productive meeting, especially that we are going into a pretty important reporting earnings season. So I'd want to be ready by using charts. And there are a couple of good pieces of news in there and a couple of concerning things. Right. So it should be exciting in the next couple of weeks.
There's a lot to cover, Nick. Before we do get started, everybody in the chat, the more people participate, the better it is because we can address the conversation right towards everybody. Put a 1 in the chat if this is your first time in these sessions. Put a 2 if you've been here before, if you're a regular. You know, we already kind of know some of the regulars, but
I see a whole bunch of 1s. That's good. There are some 2s in there.
A couple 2s mixed up. The 2s don't want to say they're 2s anymore now. So
okay, that's a good mix. So what is the topic today? Did we choose a topic? Last time it was technical. What are we doing today?
Today we're doing, I mean, what do the people say? What do the people want? Like, let's just.
Well, let me tell you, everybody's now interested in breakouts and breakdowns and entry points. They feel like something happened last week, and I don't think anything happened. It's just a matter of emotion.
The lizard people met up in Davos, right? Or
yeah. There was somebody saying that there were 1,500 private jets to a place that is hard to get to because they also then take a helicopter from wherever they land from the plane, so they don't drive an hour. And so in order to save the planet, they're like destroying it in the process to get there. But you know, this is neither here nor there. So I think we should have a balance of both. We should address the economic conditions in general, and we should address the market in general, and then some of the fundamentals, which are important for the big stocks, and then some technicals to see where's the opportunity. How is that?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a packed session, and I know there's more stuff that you'll dig into, obviously, but yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and get it started.
I'm going to take the screen away from you and put it in this one. All right, are we good? You can see my charts. I'll move this chat over here. All right, and I'll try to keep my eye on the chat room as well with the comments. All right, okay, so first things first, let me tell you right off the bat, nothing has changed in the fundamentals. So whatever you thought was going on 2 weeks ago when you were scared, or 2 months ago when you were scared, and a month after that when you were happy, it has not changed. But Powell has been saying the same thing, and we're just not listening. So he said he's going to be raising rates for a lot longer than he thought. So people expecting him to change his mind about that is silly. And more silly, people who expect him to reverse, like cut rates. Based on what? What? No, that is like, no, there's no need to cut rates. Okay, so let's address the facts. We have full employment in the US as defined economically. We have an overheated economy. That's why he's raising rates. So the economy is too strong. Everybody's too employed. And we have too much money in the system. Most of it came from the government in the last 2 or 3 years. So these are facts. They're not my opinions. Those are facts. That's why we have high inflation. And he's trying to change that. And he could break the economy. He's doing his best, which is un-American, but that's what his goal is. And his bosses said it was okay. So these are facts. So let's see where we're at. To me, people say, are we in a recession? It's like, I don't even know how to answer that. So I'm not going to worry about whether technically we are in a recession or not. What I care about is how healthy is the actual economy. And in the US, 2/3 of the economy, 1 second. 2/3 of the economy is consumer spending. So if that's the case, then I want to pay attention to Amazon's earnings coming up. But first, we have Microsoft. And second, we have Tesla. So those are two important things that give me a gauge on the economy. So let's say the next couple of weeks pass and all the mega caps, those two companies I mentioned, Apple, Google, if they all report boring P&Ls, no big changes, no big ups, no big downs, then all these fears about destroying the economy are not there, because those companies are bound by law to report the truth, whereas the GDP report is full of holes. You can, I'm a numbers guy, and if somebody says, I want to build a bridge, and you give them accurate numbers that are not as accurate as the GDP is, they couldn't build the bridge. It's not like the bridge will collapse. They don't have enough data, reliable data, to build a bridge. So the GDP data doesn't really tell me whether the economy is breaking down or not. But a change in Amazon's sales, Amazon is all consumer spending. So if Amazon tells me 20% of its sales are gone, I'll believe that there's a problem in the economy. And then everybody's focused, oh my God, they're going to fire 15,000 people out of 1.2 million people. And here's the other statement. If you go to Amazon, you're likely to walk out with a job right now. I know the Amazons around me are hiring. If you go to UPS, you'll get hired right on the spot. So the firing, I think, is just rhetoric to remind Powell that he's destroying the economy. I bet you they fire people all the time, but they hire people all the time. So if you ask them by the end of the year, are they going to have more or less employees? I bet you they'll end up with more. But I can't prove it. We'll find out after the fact. Anyway, so back to the charts. So if the facts have not changed, and they haven't in a long time, so it's a matter of finding good entry points and exit points based on charts, because that's the only thing that we have guiding us. And believe it or not, everything on this stuff right here, so everything here is fact. There's no opinion. Everything on the right is opinions. And I'll tell you one thing, it's easier to say where a stock is not likely to go than it is where it is absolutely going to go, which is why I like to trade the way I do, which is via credit spread. So before we go any further, how do I spend my days with my members? I have something called the Inner Circle chat room. And that used to be just a static chat room. And it took all my write-ups. And then we started the live room, where I spend my entire day with you, if you want to. I'm sharing my screen like this, 9 hours a day, maybe longer. And as long as the market's open or before they open, I hop on and I'm sharing my screens. Why? To discuss whatever you want to discuss, but mainly to try to find entry and exit points, intraday setups. So all day, I'm saying there could be a move from here to here and here to here. And somebody yesterday or Saturday reached out to me saying, I don't give any entries and exit points. And I was like, where have you been? He said he was in the room the whole time. I'm shocked that he didn't find one entry point when all day, if it's not me, there are a dozen other people sharing their own stops. So if you're listening, the opportunities in that room are going on all day. So if I see a bearish setup here, I'll share it. If I see a bearish setup here, I'll share it. If I see a bullish setup here, I'll share it for those who can trade fast all day. But ideally, I like to trade easier by selling credit put spreads and credit call spreads. On Friday, the credit call spreads got demolished because of the run-up that happened. It was a little bit too excited. So these opportunities are available all day. So this is what we do in the live room all day, entries and exit. And we have a dozen people, and that number is growing, that actually share their own trade setups. I'm buying puts on this stock. I'm buying calls on that stock. I'm trimming my position here. I just got filled on this. These are comments you will read throughout. We're hitting VWAP here. If you don't know what that means, I usually explain what that means if somebody threw it in there. We have Algo Flow doing this. If somebody posts that, I'll explain what that means. And if you have a question saying, hey, what is a call calendar? I'll spend 10, 20 minutes explaining what a call calendar is. So if you want to learn and you have a school open all day when anybody can say whatever they want, that's it. So we spend a lot of live time that is as quality time as can be, where I share videos, I share setups, I share explanations, I draw on the screen, and in between trade setups. And that the number of people who contribute is growing and growing and growing. We even had a couple of new people with new methods of calculating the close for the day. And, I'm willing to listen, willing to learn their methods if they prove them right. I think we've had up to 350 people in the room at the peak this week, and as low as 310. So the room is like Ed said, what's the win rate? Come in and find out what's the win rate. If you're coming in just for the win rate, you're approaching it from the wrong angle, Ed. And as soon as you jump in, you're going to figure it out. It is spending time learning how to do it on your own, and then having the opportunity to do it among 300 friends. So the win rate doesn't matter. Whose win rate? Me? I don't take more than half the trades I don't take because they're too fast for my own blood. So if you're an active trader trading from point A to point B, the win rate doesn't matter. It's the how much money you're making at the end of the day. Because if with active trading, you have to win big and lose little. So you could lose 10 and win one big and win. So do you call that a losing win rate or what? So it's not about win rate. You have to approach it from the setup perspective and how successful you are and making a living at this. And there are a lot of people in there that are pro traders that do nothing other than that. And some people that have jobs and they can pop in a couple of minutes a day. And there are some people that want to make it a living, but they're not ready to cut the cord immediately. But all of these people have one place in common. You can pop in and out anytime you want, or you can pop in and spend all day.
Decorio has an interesting question.
Listen, man, listen. Ed, what's the PNL? 1 billion%. Okay.
Decorio says that he works in the morning. So, how would he be able to do that if he has a full-time job or a part-time job, I guess?
What? Do what?
Make the trades from the chat room.
No, the live room trades are on all day. The iron condors pay 25% a day. They pay 20 to 25% a day, the setups. And the margin requirement is small enough that any account can have it. I think everybody should be able to trade the SPX. So if your trading platform doesn't allow you to trade the SPX, you should consider adding one that does, because the SPX is cash settled. A small account will not be constricted in the afternoons. In case you didn't know it, if you have a small account and you have a trade in the options on the SPY, for example, late in the afternoon on expiration day, the trading platform will go in and close your account for you, close your trade for you before you even know it. So you go to close a bull put spread that you had, or a credit call spread or something, and you go, where is it? Yep, they closed it for you to save you from yourself. They won't do that in the SPX because it is cash settled. And the cash settled means that there's no assignment. You can't go out and buy the SPX, the index. You will settle to cash. So if you lose money. You're not going to be assigned with margin calls. The trade setups that I like, if you do an iron condor, for example, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it a little bit. If you do an iron condor that expires the same day, I set them up to where I can yield 20 to 25%. So if I'm collecting $1, the maximum I can lose is 4. So that's 25%. You're saying, whoa, you're risking 4 to make 1. Okay, so when you buy shares, you're risking the entire amount to make however you get out of it. 10% rally. In this case, I'm risking $400 to yield 25% in 6 hours. So yeah, It makes total sense. Anyway, but it's a longer conversation. The room is full of people that are willing to help you. Everybody's nice. It's not hooting and hollering. It's not a Discord service where it's super loud and obnoxious. Everybody has the opportunity to express an idea. Only I'm speaking and the rest are typing. It's a chat room available. And I'm sharing charts and we share files. Other people post charts, pictures inside the chat room. You can see that. Links, discussions. If somebody's looking to enter a trade, they go, hey, what do you think? I'm looking to do that. Is that a good idea? And if it's something that, like, some people have a problem sharing in public, so you can reach out to me in private. There's a DM section. You direct message me the question and I'll answer it for everybody else. I can't remember the subject on Friday. I know at some point we discussed diagonals over somebody's earnings. Netflix, maybe? Yes. So we had a lesson on Netflix diagonals and setups with calendars. So those who took, I wrote it up in length. Those who took the call calendars or diagonals doubled their money easy. Those who took the put calendars, they lost some money, but they didn't get blown out because they utilized that method. And we paid attention to the fact that on Netflix earnings, the implied volatility for last week, which had 1 day on the clock, was 220%, which was more than double than normal. It was almost 4 times as much as normal as what it was. It was more than double than the one after that. So the idea was to not buy anything for Friday, but rather to buy it for 3 weeks out and sell against it the ones for Friday. And that's the money maker, because the difference in volatility at the open, the volatility in the week that ended got crushed, like from 4x to like maybe 1.5x. And that's what you made your money. So if you did that, if you got a call calendar, both calls lost money, but the one that you sold lost money in your favor a lot faster. So the differential of what you paid and what you end up owning is big. So you make money. Anyway, it was an easy win. But we discussed the whole concept. So now another concept we discussed was selling covered calls. What do I do when the price runs up against me? So I shared in details my thoughts. Other things, okay, so I've had the stock, I've had a win. How do I book it? Do I book it? Or I've had a stock that has fallen out of control. How do I hedge it? Maybe it's too late to hedge it, but we'll talk about it. I even discussed the idea of how you can double down without any money out of pocket. And I don't like doubling down, but that way I would. So the education piece is going on all day. The camaraderie is definitely all day. We're watching out for each other's back. Trade ideas are flowing from me and dozens of other people in there. The tools are, the list of tools that we're using in there is infinite, from the very simple to the very complicated. And we know what's going on. And with the options world, we also know what's going on, how to handle options. So if you're looking to level up your game, we have a way for you to do that. Join the inner circle, and this will give you the opportunity to join the live chat room, which is the live trading room. And if you have a job, full-time job, you're not obligated. You're not missing anything but not being in there. But it's an opportunity for you. Let's say one day you need a question answered like right away. You pop into the live room. You got me right there, 9 hours a day. It's me. You can ask me and I'll answer. If you're completely bogged down, you will never go into the live room. The whole service is based for you, which is me writing up the things for you and put them available to when you want to check them out. I'll give you an example. Today I did homework for a whole bunch of people, and this is a list of stocks I came up with. 2 videos. It's maybe 2 hour, maybe hour and a half long, the whole thing. But you go down here, you find your stock, which you told me about, and you click on it and you'll find the chart that goes with it. So you have me doing your homework. You have a job. You don't want to do the homework. You give me the tickers. These are not my tickers, I promise you. And these are your tickers. These are my thoughts on your tickers. And then I'll do a video. In case you can't join me live on Sunday, you will watch it at your own leisure in your house. Sunday night, I will do the homework for you to tell you where the markets are going to go or not go. So Sunday night, you will get a strategy video from me. It's about 8 minutes. How am I going to approach the week? Okay, I won't record it until late tonight because I want to see the market opens in the pre-open, plus I'm traveling until this evening. So that is 2 things on Sunday. Then on Monday before the open, you will have a write-up from me telling you what the day is going to look like, 5 charts for the indices and the ETFs and the futures and the ETFs. And you're going to get my bullet points for the day and how am I going to trade the day, the list of earnings. And in the middle of the day, you will have an update from me, also in writing, that you can check out at any point in time with an update as to how the day is going and most likely a trade idea. So if you become a member and you cannot join me in the live room, you're not missing anything because the entire membership is made for you, but live room is bonus. And if you can join me in there, it's a whole new world that you haven't even thought about. So you will get the 1 trade a day, basically, minus Friday, sometimes I skip. So what is that, 4 to 5 a week? You will have the whole Sunday video setups, which have hours of trade ideas in there. You will have the strategy, and you'll have the recourse of asking me whatever you want in the chat room, not the live room. You pop in the chat room on Sunday night, you have a question for Nick, you can direct message me, or you can pop in there and just chat with other people, not me in there. Okay, so I may have already. Yep, the Sunday charts have posted in there. I made a point about crypto. I got people in crypto when crypto was at the bottom, and now they have a lot of profits. So this is where you can hang out with hundreds of other people. It's Sunday and there's 78 people. Nothing going on right now, and there's 78 people. Usually during the day, there are hundreds in there. These are other Benzinga members of the inner circle. All of these people have the opportunity to join me in the live room. And the live room looks something like this. I'm in there, and these are comments. So here, this guy contributes all day. Doc helps all day. This guy contributes his fast trades. That's his nickname. He jumps in and out of trades all day. He knows how to do this, and he's a pro. That's all he does. He knows how to do this on his own, and he wouldn't do it without us because he knows he does better when he's here. He sent me private messages about that. And then we have this another scenario here. 6 wins, 1 loss. This is Val popping in. Hi, Nick. So far, good with trades. 6 wins, 1 loss. So, hey, Ed, that's her record. 6 wins and 1 loss. And she's new at this. Okay. And she said she does buying calls and puts. And the other guy tells me we don't say any calls and puts. So you just have to be aware. I'm not going to trade for you. I'm going to share everything I'm seeing, and it's up to you to pick up some skills. This is not a trade alert service. This is a service that will help you learn and the opportunity to earn, along with 300 other people. And I urge you to just play with fake money until you get things right. I believe Val has been doing that. Brian says, learned a ton today, Nick. When was that? The 19th. Seemed like class all day long, period, end of story. This is what I need to hear. Statements like Brian on the 19th. Learned a lot. It seemed like class all day long. That's music to my ears right there. The Sunday session, you missed it this morning. It's at 10 a.m. So the fact that you missed it tells me that you're not doing it right here. So every day, like on Friday, if you went in here, you should have seen, see, like here on Friday, I put a note of what's going on Sunday and all of that. 10 a.m. Eastern right there. So on Friday afternoon, you could have given me your ticker and gone to the conference. It said what time. So catch me next time. But you do have the videos where they're posted in the same place. Nick's important messages. Go there. There are the videos. There are 2 of them here. So, okay. And the list. All right. Okay. Can I hear something helpful instead of sales pitch? That's a little bit rude, Jeffrey. We're working towards it. What do you need? Okay. This is Ed talking. Okay, so Ed had an issue, not a win. He had a loss. If you want to learn how to manage losses, that's how you do it. You put on your head straight and you calm down and you manage the loss. He managed the loss over, I think, 3 weeks and ended up managing flattish red out of it. That's the goal. You go from complete loss, managing it to get out of it with flattish red. He did it. because he was in a group of people willing to help him out. Okay, this is Luke. He's done, he jumped in, he was fairly new, and he did well with whatever we gave him. So the platform opens the opportunity for the discussion of charts, point A to point B. Somebody says, hey, I'm looking to get long ALB today. Okay, so I don't know ALB. So I will give them my opinion on ALB. I usually open up the fundamentals to see if I can get myself really quickly educated on what they do. I'll take a peek at their P&L. Long-term, quarterly P&L is amazing. Annual P&L is not so amazing, so that's a little weird. So maybe they have seasonality. Technically, they're going into a resistance zone, and I would probably be more inclined to buy dips than rips. But for that, I need to get into smaller time frames. Same company. So I see an opportunity here. Like if they can get up above 252, they can get to 262, and then they'll face bigger sellers there. So I would rather buy the dip into this zone and try to ride it back up than just buy calls here or buy shares hoping for the continuation. Is that better? Is that better? Okay. As long as you agree, I'm happy. All right. So I just gave you an idea of what happens within the inner circle. And what I'm doing here with you is what goes on all day throughout the week. So I'm at this point, since I see we have a couple of eager beavers in there, let's go and do some tickers. Give me tickers. Don't give me SPY because that's the whole market. We'll answer specific questions. The whole market video will come tonight to members. So Shopify. Okay, Marlena, thank you. We'll go to Shopify. Okay, so Shopify, I'm a fan of the business. Why? Because the P&L tells me that. Although I am a little leery at the quarterly, I don't know what these are all about. That's a big drawdown in something going on there. So make sure there's nothing like maybe they bought something or whatever. Okay, so I wouldn't be looking to short Shopify as a way of dealing with the stock. I'm looking for entry points. And I did do a couple of bullish trades along the way on dips. 2 earnings ago, it fell 16% right here before the earnings because the CEO somehow was allowed to go on CNBC and say something like, Jim, we got this one wrong. Whatever it was, I have no idea. I didn't watch it. The stock fell 16% the day before the earnings. How was he allowed to speak before the earnings and have an interview? I have no idea. So I went long for the group and we did this. And I've sold a couple of credit put spreads in it. So on the next dip, I would sell naked puts to own shares or sell a put spread to try to make money out of it. I would be long out of this. And if they take this out, Shopify can be at 54. Now, don't go out and buy the shares that Nick said it's going to 54. Eventually, it is. If the stock market is higher in the future, this should go above 50. How? I would prefer to buy the dip into 37, 36, especially into 32. In fact, I'm going to put an alert here for myself. So I'm doing homework for myself. And if it comes back down to here, I'm going to sell as many puts as they would let me. I would say sell puts, buy call. Okay. So this is an aggressive way of getting long. Above here, I think it takes off and the bulls are the bears are in trouble. This was easy, fast. Look, there's no volume here. This is a volume profile of sorts. This came too fast. Then the reverse of it will come too fast. So clear this area. You may go spike. That's Shopify. So if I have shares, I'm not adding. Not here. It's too late. If I'm looking to get shares, I could take a partial position, but I'm hoping the continuation can follows through as far as upside potential. Going into earnings, I'm not that guy. I'd rather see the earnings come away, and then I will make a bet after the earnings, knowing how the reaction to the earnings was. I'm not so concerned about the earnings quality. I'm concerned about the reaction to the earnings. It doesn't have much to do with the actual earnings quality, the overnight reaction. We can argue that point, but I'll prove you wrong. So selling a put spread would be fine. Buying a call spread would be fine. Going all in or either of those two, I think is a potential mistake. So we don't know what we don't know. If I'm itching to get long, I can't stop you. It's a good company, decent price, decent level. All right, so let's go down the list. I think somebody said Microsoft. Okay, so I'm going to tell you it doesn't matter what I say about Microsoft. Excellent excellent management, excellent company. It's a matter of finding entry points. it's going into earnings, and the earnings reaction is a complete coin flip. So this here is about target 1 of 2. Target 2 is up here from that green thing you see there. This is a contention zone. I expect sellers. They showed up once. You take out 243, you can get to 252 or 55. I wouldn't hold calls for that because on Wednesday morning, it's a coin flip. You're saying, oh, the report's going to be great. I'm saying, who cares? The reaction is still a coin flip. What? Yeah. So it's all about expectations. If a whole bunch of people expect the crappy report and the report comes out just regular bad, it rallies. If everybody's expecting great things from it and it comes out okay, good, it drops. It's all about expectations. So I don't know what people expect. You don't either. And so I would rather buy the dip on their disappointment or let them rip it, and then I'll find better entry points. Because if you get long here or you get short here, you're making a guess that has a lot to do with a coin flip as to how it's going to plan out. I like the company. If you loved it, why aren't you long already? Because down here, it was definitely cheap. Amazon, I put out somebody's asking, we'll go there. I sent out a note to get long Amazon in the 80s, somewhere down here. I can't remember exactly when. I said, I like the company. It is crazy, stupid, cheap. It is the cheapest it's been in a long, long time, if not ever. I value cheapness on Amazon by looking at its price to sales, not the PE. It's a silly thing to ask profitability of a company that grows as fast as this one. This is a growth company. You don't judge it by its profitability. They can turn profitability up to the moon at the drop of a hat anytime they want to. They choose not to because they want to create a bigger company. That's how they got to do what? Own the freaking internet. They owned the web, okay? The cloud. They own it. And that's a bookstore. That doesn't happen by mistake. It happens by spending every penny you have in a smart way like they have been. Anyway, having said that, my idea was to just straight out buy shares. This way, you don't care about timing. And it was very it was perfect timing because this happened. So if you're buying shares here, you're buying them from me who's selling his shares that bottom down there. If you were trading Amazon, this is not an entry point. Above here, it is. But I'm going to give you a little heads up. So we have Microsoft reporting on Tuesday. The rest of the market that looks like it. So Facebook, Amazon, Google, all the other companies that look like these big guys will move with Microsoft in sympathy. So if Microsoft rallies, these guys will rally too. So if you go to buy Microsoft calls and puts this week, you're going to pay up like you would have on Netflix. The implied volatility is going to be super high. And Wednesday morning, all that extra premium is going to get out of the market. So if you bought a call or a put and you get the move you want, you're still not going to make a lot of money because a lot of it is going to be eaten up by the volatility crush that happens. So the better way to do it is to buy these alternative stocks that are going to move with it out in time. So I would buy Amazon 3 weeks or 2 weeks out because those implied volatilities are going to increase as their event approaches. So yeah, time will be degrading those as well, but not as fast because it's going to be offset by the increase in volatility because they're going into their own events. So find the event for Amazon week and buy calls or puts for that event if you want to play it that way. Long or short, I'm not telling you long or short. I can't wait for them to drop it again so I can get long again. I'm a guy who I know what I know, and I don't take unnecessary risk, and I risk good amount of money when I have conviction. Amazon in the low 80s is a bargain, and I had conviction and I traded accordingly. So same with Bitcoin. I had conviction. The riskiest part of the Bitcoin part is I don't know if I'll have my money. I crushed it trading wise on the way down and on the way up for the group, but I can't tell you that crypto.com will be in business. So to avoid it for the group, I said use Bito. And if they did that, we bought it at, I think 11. We sold puts at 950, and now it's whatever 15. Yeah, so we did well. So Amazon, good company. So far, good leadership. I hope Bezos come back because I don't know this new guy. And if the market is higher in the future, Amazon will be too. Okay, let's see here. You guys did FANG, like FANG, the oil company? No, too small. Palantir, I own the stock at about the same price as where it is right now. I did not add to it. I would sell puts in it to own more, but I haven't done that yet. It's a good company for the long term. I will buy the dip, especially if it's on the same BS reasons. They sell it off because the CEO made too much money. What? Who cares? They're still growing hand over fist, and who cares? And if they sell it off because it's losing government business, but the overall sales are still growing pretty impressively, who cares? So they sell apples and oranges. And for some reason, they stopped selling apples and selling a lot more oranges than they started losing apples. Who cares? If the sales mix is going from point A to point B, it's not that big a concern as long as they're growing. Government is crazy. We know that. So they're not forecastable. Okay, we have, I don't know, BGS. If nobody else asks for anything, RTX, I just looked at it. It's not an obvious entry point for RTX. It's on my list. Nokia, I don't trade Nokia. I just closed Verizon. If that's, what is this blue thing?
No, I was just testing something here. It's letting me draw there. But
I was like, what?
when you
hey, wait. I do this during the live session. I have the ability to open it up for artists, and they go hog wild on that one. It's hilarious. That's like 5 minutes of laughing.
I don't know how to take it off. But anyways, man, just let me know when you have a couple minutes here, because the questions for the chat room are
go ahead.
Accumulating here.
Go ahead.
Okay, folks, again, thanks a lot for sending these questions, and I just pretty much grabbed the most common ones. These are questions about Nick's live trading room. Does Nick go over student trade ideas? Yeah, that happens all the time. Good question, Bill. Like Nick mentioned, this is a group approach, right, where we all work together. Are the sessions on Sundays recorded? Yes, they are recorded, and they are posted in the live room as well. So yeah, that happens. Let's see, next question. What is the chat room schedule? All right, Jemmy, so the blue chat room, the static chat room is open 24/7. It doesn't close. We have people, around the world, so that's open all day, 24/7. The live session where Nick is live, sharing his screen, just like you're seeing now, the same thing you're seeing now, this is how you would be with Nick interacting. That's open 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. So that's the entire week, right? Even before and after regular trading hours. Let's see, next question. Does Nick provide education? Yeah, pretty much most, if not all, every trade comes with education. As you've seen, he's covered technicals, fundamentals, industry analysis, sector analysis, macro analysis. So there's a ton of trades that you can make from different strategies, right? Different pools of ideas to trade. Do you teach strategies from A to Z? Yes. Do you have any notifications? Good question. We actually do have push notifications. So if you download them, just log in with your credentials, and you'll be able to get push notifications every time that Nick will post a trade. And the last question here for you, Nick, how much capital is required to do the trades in the chat room?
Nothing, because if you're new to this, you should practice with fake money. As far as me, when I set up a trade, I'm conscious to make it that it fits in anybody's portfolio. So if I have a small account, I should be able to mirror that trade on a smaller scale. So I mentioned iron condors, and those literally risk $400. But you can't go in with a $500 account and risk $400 every day on every trade. So clearly a small account would still be able to trade these. When I send out a trade, I like, for example, if I send out a credit put spread or a credit call spread, I make it $1 wide so that a smaller account can take it. Somebody that's seen these before, they can make it $2 wide. They will have the same amount, the same odds of success, only they choose to risk more money to make more money. But the way I write it up, it's I make it as low as possible to grab the lowest common denominator without sacrificing quality. So you shouldn't risk any money if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. So that's the easy way to say it. So I just did a couple of stocks while you were talking, just for their benefit. The ones I said I'm not going to do.
Yeah, just wanted to tell Michael here. Michael, everything is posted in the chat room, right? So the link to join, if you're in the Zoom, make sure that you're looking at the chat room. That's where we're posting the link to join.
Yeah. So for example, what don't I do? I don't get in at pivot points. So you shouldn't expect that things are going to change just because you feel like it. For example, this thing here, whatever this thing, somebody asked about it in the chat room. If you're asking me about it, because this is when you're going to get long, because you waited and waited, you've been thinking, you're waiting and waiting, and now you want to get long. That's what market makers bet on. You're like their golden ticket. So when a stock, here's a piece of advice: when a stock is doing this for so long, for you to expect that this time it's different without any hardcore evidence that this is different is silly. So this looks like it could be different, but I bet you that person said the same thing up here, and that person up here, and that person up here, and that person up here. So far, they are selling rallies. So I will imagine they will try to sell this rally as well. Now, when they come down, if they hold a higher low and then come back up and beat where they come down from, then okay, we're talking. But this is how they trap bulls, by coming back to where this is a descending channel. So it's not like I'm touching lines. The behavior, rally sold, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the 8th rally, significant rally in this span of since 22 to now. So the market in general is doing the same thing, but now they're swimming sideways. So have you heard how you swim out of the riptide? If you know anything about the ocean, you go to, oh, there's a riptide. If you ever get caught in a riptide and it's taking you out, and they say, don't swim in, swim out. So go sideways. So they've been stuck in the riptide. So what they need to do, the easiest way to get out of a riptide of a descending channel like this, to just go sideways. And then you start meandering higher. The challenge with that is if you drop and you go sideways and then you lose your base on that sideways move, you go down as much as you dropped. So clearly it's not going to minus 80, but I'm just saying it becomes very important to make the rounding bottom here. At some point, there will be a bottom. Maybe this is the bottom, but don't be the person that comes in at that last poke and you get stuck here for a long time. I would rather miss out than have to risk it, because it's devastating and you just don't want to get caught in it. All right. Okay, let's see. What else can we do? Let's see. Tesla, traded Tesla beautifully. You want to see how beautifully we traded Tesla? Lockheed, VMware, I don't trade anymore. DXCM, we looked at it today. It's on my list. Mara, I'm going to give you a piece of advice on Mara, MSTR, Coin, all those ones that are trading with Bitcoin. Don't touch all of those, because any of those, because as big a fan I am of buying the dip in crypto when everybody hates it, I don't like trading stocks who cannot control their own stock price action by doing well. So regardless of how good the company of Coin is, for whatever whacked out reason, they sell it off when Bitcoin sells off. I don't get it. I get it with MSTR and Mara if they actually hold coins or they're miners. But this is a trading platform. And why does it fall when the price of coins falls? It's like selling off E-Trade stock or Schwab because the stock markets are falling. It just doesn't make sense. Nevertheless, so I don't want to associate. So these Coin, Mara, and all those will fall with the markets for whatever reason, the stock markets, if they're falling. So that's a problem. So that's a variable. And then they will also fall with Bitcoin. So if the markets are rallying and Bitcoin's falling, Coin's still going to fall. Screw that. Either trade the market or trade the Bitcoin directly with Bito. Avoid it. So the stocks look great, but they look parabolic. And to jump into them, is this one of them? Is this something to do with Bitcoin? Because that sure looks like it. So why not just trade Bito? So that's my comment about all of these. Lockheed, we traded it. It doesn't trade well with, it's not LMT. It's not very liquid on the options, but boy, did we nail it. Look at these arrows. And for months, we traded it pretty well. I don't trade it. Once it went parabolic, everybody's like, can I buy the dip? I was like, what dip? It just rallied 1,000,000% based on somebody's words. So here's an easy solution to not chasing or not panicking or not doing the wrong things. You've heard of Fibonacci, but it's a concept right? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you say the rally was, let's say it's from here to here, the stock just fell literally to the middle of the zone. This is normal. So if you're starting to short it now, you're making a mistake. If you're going all in, you're also making mistakes. Somewhere in this zone between here and 420, there is support. Doesn't mean it doesn't go further lower. And then what happens after the pump? So yeah, there is support. That doesn't mean it goes back to here. I think this whole thing was junk, whatever that was. I bet you somebody said something in the White House. We go to the moon. Yeah. So the rallies are going to find sellers. I guarantee it. And then what? If you come back and lose this, you end up here. I think a better entry point is below 420, personally. Nothing against the company. This is my assessment. And I would rather miss on rallies than to get in and lose a whole bunch. And, okay, Head and Shoulders, solid. So what they're saying, you belong in the group. That's all I'm going to say. So here's the deal. Let's say I'm right and there's support here and it bounces and it comes back down. Now suddenly you drew the right shoulder to an inverse cup and handle or Head and Shoulders, whatever. You battled over a neckline that ended up giving way. And then that just makes the bears gain more momentum. And then you repeat and suddenly you're in a descending channel until you hit real good support. Like whatever happened here, that's pretty good support. Confirmed. This is not really good support. It could be for now, but a couple of hiccups more and you fall into this is a better support. RSI Daily, you definitely belong in the group. Okay, if you're not in there. I'm not reading names, so don't get offended if you are already in the group. Okay, so let's see here. NVIDIA, okay, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. When somebody gives you an opinion of a stock and you disagree with that opinion to the point to where you don't even hear it, you should step back and force yourself to hear it. For example, on Bitcoin, in 2021, my write-up to the group was, be careful, we're coming into a correction that could take Bitcoin to the low 20s, if not the breakout from years ago, which was 19 and change. And that was the very high of Bitcoin. It was October or November of 2021 here. I did the video. And I said my plan was to get long along the way in 3 different spots and get all in into under to 19. So it played out like a tune. But a lot of people didn't believe me here. And then I gave similar notes on NVIDIA. And on NVIDIA, I drew arrows. This was my target from when it lost 205. And this was the actual target of the Head and Shoulders. Look at my target. Look at where it ended up. So I'm sure when I did this, somebody got pissed off because I hurt their feelings of their beloved NVIDIA going down to 2 digits. That was like inconceivable. Well, if they had listened, entertained the idea, then they would have were not caught wrong. AMD did the same thing. I like that. Okay. And Apple just averted the same thing. And I said last week, I need Apple above 134, 135, and they jumped above it. I still need a couple of dollars more because they're in danger of triggering a nasty Head and Shoulders, probably better viewed here. It's hard to see, but it's there. Trust me. They lost this zone. It doesn't mean that they're supposed to go down there, but they were in danger of doing that. So be careful with that. Guess who else did this? Tesla. So I drew a weekly chart on Tesla that had an arrow that raised eyebrows down to here and here. And that was when it lost 215-ish. I said it needs to get back above 215. So when somebody offers you a chart that completely grosses you out or pisses you off, force yourself to listen and really investigate that chart. Make it your job to call me wrong. Don't call me wrong out of reaction, just so you would have at least seen the potential disgusting scenario that may or may not play out. I hope these scenarios are all wrong when I draw them, but I put them there because I know I've been watching charts for a while and it's always a possibility. So Snap, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because I cannot stand their management. Do you know what kind of company Snap is? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Marvel, I do like it. It's too cheap. It could rally hard. I took some calls and lost on it with the timing. I still think on the Wolf Wave somewhere out there, it says it's going to 52. It's taking a sweet old time. So if you have shares, I think you can wait in it. You can buy dips. I wouldn't add. We don't know much. Here's shorter term. The upside played out one time, twice, and now they have to deal with this mess. So dips will be bought. They need to take this out. And if they do, they can challenge this. This is probably going to end up happening on like some headline or something. So let me tell you what the Snap story is. They're a camera company. Don't take my word for it. Go to their website. That's just what kind of a freaked out company is that? Anyway, I lost money on Snap one time. And the way I lost money on it is like, I'm not going to touch your stock ever again. That's my punishment to you. They had just reported earnings a couple of weeks before. The stock fell. I looked at the P&L. I was like, okay, things are still okay. I can do a credit put spread, a bull put spread. I took a bull put spread. Everything working fine, right? Earnings are coming like 5 weeks later. The CEO out of nowhere decides to go out and pre-announce, say, oh, we're going to suck in 6 weeks. Why on earth would you do it when nobody's ready? I don't take trades during the earnings. So I was ready for the earnings to be over there. And out of nowhere, he came out and pooped all over his own stock for no reason. Why do CEOs do that? Any CEO that does that, I stop trading their stock, because that's a weak CEO. They have no skills to bet on that they can fix things in 5 weeks and have a better story later. Instead, he chose to say, oh, we're going to be bad and we don't know how bad we were. It's not like he had visibility. It's bad enough to say, look out, the story might not be great, but we have a handle on it because ... Nope. He comes out and says, it's going to be hideous. Be prepared. What? So if somebody owns shares and they protect themselves during earnings by buying puts, they had no opportunity to do so. And the stock fell 40% or whatever. I was like, screw that. I'll take the loss. Bye. I won't trade you ever again. Okay. BBBY, no. I have people in the room that made a ton of money on it, trading it the other day, but I know somebody in the room that made fortunes in it. And the last time he got caught long and he lost a fortune in it. So I'm not going to talk about it. Meme stocks, I will support you hooting and hollering in the room and saying, good job, good job. I will warn you against trading with them, because unless you're in and out for a second at a time, it's just a pure gamble. And it's not investing. It's not even trading. It's just gambling. Go to Vegas. Play roulette. You'll have just as good a job. Odds, I think. Okay, so we talked a few charts. We talked about what goes on with us. My theory on the market, if you would shut off the news for everybody in the world, stocks would rally, because the only thing holding us back is the fear that these companies, these expert companies are telling us. That's it. There's no reason to worry about income from Apple unless somebody tells me, oh my gosh, did you hear Apple? It may be doing this and may be doing that. Let me clue you in. Apple suppliers sign millions of dollars worth of personal penalties for everybody involved if they divulge any information about the Apple business. So whenever you hear people close to the matter tell us that Apple is pulling back on, it's all horse shit. It's somebody that has a trade and is trying to make money off of it. None of these people have the balls to come out and say anything about Apple, because they are personally responsible for whatever they say. So don't listen to it. If Apple falls because of headlines of slowing down sales, that's an opportunity to buy. And I am not a fan of Apple. I've never bought anything Apple unless it's a gift for somebody, and I would never will. The products are great, but they're just not for me. And I definitely do not like Tim Cook. I think he's overrated. Probably the most overrated stock in the history of stocks. CEO right. In the history of stocks.
Hey, Nick, we ran a quick poll here. Looks like about 80% of the people here are trading alone. Do you think that's good for retail traders?
No, do not trade alone ever again, ever again. So trading alone is pretty lonely, and you don't have as many eyeballs helping you. So you need friends, and when you're trading with friends, you have fewer mistakes. You have more people looking for opportunities, helping you out. You have trade ideas from other people, and you can hit somebody with an idea or two. So the easiest thing that I can explain it, you're just going to have to spend a couple of days in it to see the benefit, maybe even a couple of weeks. I'm going to tell you, people that join, a lot of times they say, this is too much. It's above my pay grade. I said, focus. There are a lot of comments that are being said about different timeframes. Focus, ignore the noise that you can't understand. After a while, you will start understanding even the things that you don't care about. Like, I don't care about point A to point B, like from here to here, exit here, buy here, exit here. I can't do it that fast because I'm coordinating all this effort. So if I was in the room, I would tune that stuff out. But if I'm in the room and I'm interested in trading Marvel and Marvel, I would ask questions about Marvel and take all the input from the hundreds of people that are going to tell me about it. So we go over iron condors all day, every day. That's how I like to trade every day, using iron condors. And sometimes I'll say, I'm skipping this one. On Friday, I said, I'm not trading. And I offered an iron condor. I offered a credit put spread, and I kind of warned against the credit call spread, but not like, I didn't say don't take it. I said, careful. But if I take a credit put spread, and then the price moves in my way in a big way, I just leave it. I don't even try to take the other side. I'll take the win, and I'll forget about the other side. So we've been talking iron condor for so much. Let's tell the people what that is. So this is a let's see here. This is an S&P platform. This is a trading platform I use it for demonstrations. I'm not recommending E-Trade. It's full of bugs, but it does good on demonstrations. What is an iron
really
condor?
Quick here, just want to give a shout out to the newest family member, MX Trader. Welcome to the family. Let's go.
All right. So here's the deal with the iron condors. Here's the concept of an iron condor. I'm going to assume that a lot of people here don't know anything about options. So this is an options chain, a whole bunch of numbers. It's about the SPY. Everything here deals with 100 shares of SPY. So every contract, everything on this page, they come in two flavors, puts and calls. Okay. You're saying to yourself, oh, I know calls are bullish, puts are bullish. No, they are not. They're both. What you do with the call, what you do with the put makes it bullish or bearish. Okay. So get that out of your head. So the expiration on this one, I picked randomly, having 26 days on the clock. Everything here, 100 shares, 26 days on the clock for SPY. We have call versions and put versions. Okay. So that's the setting. I just showed you what the setting is. These are available. They expire every day. You have a contract that expires on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's beautiful. So you can pick a trade for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let me see. Can I see it here? Okay, we'll do it here. So on Monday, current price is right here. If I think price is going to be above this and say below that, I can do a trade. So the way it is, this is, without getting too complicated, this is a credit put spread. This is a bullish trade. So is this. 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 Okay. So the differences are here, it's like buying shares. Your odds of success are 50-50. You buy shares. If you get a rally, you make money. If it drops, you kind of lose money. But if you go lower, it becomes more of an educated guess. You're saying, I don't know if this is the low of the day, but I think this is definitely the low of the day. Let's make money off of that. So you're basically saying, I'm pretty sure on Monday, the SPY will not be below 392. Okay, so when the stock opens on Monday, you can sell even this one and make some money. And then you make the opposite bet on the other side. And let me word it for you. And you say, okay, so we may rally on Monday, but I don't think we're going to go beyond a certain point, right? So in this case, if I do this, then I know this is an iron condor. I'm taking a bullish position here. These two are bullish. These two are bearish, but neither of these need anything. Price is right here. This one needs price not to do this. This one needs price not to do that. So if all day we do this and the bell rings, this trade delivers 20%. So I'm risking money. The maximum risk is finite. And I'm not like taking unlimited risk. So let's put it this way. I sell a put that opens risk. I sell a call that opens risk. Market makers that have bags of money, they do that and nothing else. They don't protect themselves. Us human beings, normal people, should protect ourselves. You can protect yourself here or here and collect more money and risk more money. That's up to you. But this is a risk that requires, if I do 10 times, I'm risk losing $800. If I do 5 times, $400. So I'm not pinning saying we're going to rally. I'm not saying we're going to fall. I'm saying let them rally a little bit, let them fall a little bit, as long as at the end of the day they're inside the range, which is statistically viable, then I'm good to go. I win. So that is an iron condor. So if I do only these, that's a bull put spread, credit put spread. If I do this, it's a bear call spread, credit call spread. And by the way, all of these orders, no money leaves my account. When I'm selling a spread to make money, money comes into my account. Okay, so that is an iron condor. I just dropped the term so many times today, I figured I owe you an explanation. Nick, you should use the traditional options chain, not the power trade secondary window. I notice my limit orders sometimes don't get filled. The traditional, I don't know what that is. That's the only platform I've ever used. I've been using this since when they were called Trade Monster. They went through a couple of buyouts. And this is the shittiest version of all of them. Excuse my French. Hold on. Somebody bought me a cowbell for the F-bombs and the S-bombs in there. So this is incredibly bad. Yeah, it's not great, but it's great for teaching. I appreciate you noticing that there are better platforms out there. They all have some deficiencies, but the deficiencies in this ones are mind-boggling. Maybe they'll fix it over time. All right. So what else do we have? I explained to you what an iron condor is. As far as, we had a debate in the live room the other day. Not in the live room, in one of the webinars. I think the Thursday webinar last week. Somebody I think his name was Sergey. He argued against my point of saying I would sell a put. He said selling puts in this market is crazy. It's safer than buying stock, than buying the stock outright. And if you want, I can spend a few minutes making that point, because impression, the myth that options are riskier than stock is not all correct. Options do have the opportunity to make a lot of money fast. That's why they're riskier than stock, because if you can make money fast, you can also lose money fast. But if you compare punch for punch, options can be safer than stock. And I always use the example, okay, let's go with Apple or Tesla. Okay, I'll use Tesla as an example. That's perfect. Okay. So let's say I wanted to buy the dip in Tesla when it fell to whatever, $102. And I went out and bought the stock at 102. Or let's say where is the chart here? Let's go here. Tesla, take out all the, whoops. What is that? No. Okay. We go here. The dip. Let's say somebody here decided to buy Tesla at 145, and somebody decided to sell a $110 put. So the person that sold it bought shares at 145. When it came down to 150, 110, they had already lost 28%. The person that sold the 110 put didn't even start losing money. So the position of selling a put is loser, but they haven't lost anything yet. So until they get assigned. So if they panic and they buy the position back, yep, they lost money. But if they don't panic and they say what they were going to do, they do what they said they were going to do, which is buy shares if they get assigned, no problem. They even made money by now. So that's why I say for me, it's safer to sell a put than buy shares. But I don't sell a put in the stock I don't want to buy shares in. That's where the problem happens. So I think what that person, Sergey, was meaning to say, don't sell puts left and right, especially in shit stocks. God dang it. Okay, in crap stocks, it's Sunday, because it is, you'll get caught in the decision, should I buy the stock or should I not? So I sold puts. I'll tell you what stocks I sold puts in. I sold puts in Tesla. I'll show you which ones exactly. I sold puts in Beto at 950 weeks at a time and never got assigned. I wanted to buy shares and I never did, so I made money out of thin air. I sold puts in Palantir and I never got assigned. I bought shares at 8 or 8.25, and then the stock fell below 7. So I started selling puts to get assigned at 650 or whatever it was, or 7. And then every time it comes to expiration, it would pop just above 7 and I would not get assigned. So I collected enough premium to make my entry cost in my shares lower than what it was. So now I am long Palantir around 7, even though I bought it at 8 and change because I was never assigned the other shares. I would sell puts in Apple at a certain level, in Google, not here, and in Amazon for sure, and on big dips where I disagree. It's either a quality stock that's fallen too cheap or into technical support or falling for wrong reasons. I'll give you an example. Last week, there was a headline, Microsoft fell in the morning like $4 out of the blue because Guggenheim downgraded it to a sell. And you can see it. Whoop. And then that's the algo that sold it. And you can almost see the human say, what are you doing, you idiot? No. And they reversed it right away. They bought it right back. So if that drop was bigger, I was ready to pounce all over it, but I didn't have the chance. It was so quick, it was pre-open. So I would sell puts in quality stocks, either on false pretense, falling for the wrong reason, or falling into super strong support, or falling into value like Amazon. Amazon had value, support, and false pretense. So that was a no-brainer. Okay. Feminist assessment of trading up. Okay, it's a good question. What is the good question? I don't know what the question is. What's your favorite platform? I use Thinkorswim and I use E-Trade because it's cheap. And I just opened an account with Tastyworks. One thing I hate about Tastyworks, I'll give you the benefit of it, is the options chain. I have a 49-inch monitor and I cannot have as many columns as I want to. What? And I can't delete the bid-ask column. I don't have bid-ask column anywhere. Look, I don't need to see the bid and the ask. I don't need to see them because I deal with highly liquid stocks where the options it's going to fill at the mid. So I look at the mark, the mid, and the change. I definitely look at the delta and the change in that. And volume and open interest, those are must. And then the implied volatility. That's it. I don't need bid and ask. Well, I can't do this in Tastyworks, which is pretty shameful because the platform looks pretty cute. And the fact that I can't do this is a deal breaker for me. I was going to switch and I'm not. Support and resistance determination. Sure can, Tom. What type of computer do I recommend? Not an Apple. Depends on what your goals are. Get a lot of RAM memory. I wouldn't buy an AMD. I would go with Intel. So AMD has faster processors, like cores, multiple cores, but single core speed, Intel beats them. And this is my first AMD machine. I bought 2 AMD machines and I regret both. And so the next machines, in fact, I'm looking to throw away my couple grand I spent on my PC to buy another couple grand that's an Intel. I get phantom issues and I'm pretty strong with my computers. I know my computers inside and out. I know it's not me. It's just bugs, especially it's probably in the video card that comes with the AMD. It has a lot of bugs. The fan, you can't stop the freaking fan.
But just to clarify, you don't need a mega computer for the live room, for the chat room. I mean, you can
do the chat room, live room off your phone. In fact, I have a lot of people that just dial in with their phone and watch it. I don't know how they do it, but they do. If my son was looking for a computer, I would convince him to getting a little Chromebook or a small $300 laptop, PC laptop. I don't think Apple offers a PC.
The thing
cheap.
here, Nick, is that look, you've helped. I'm pretty sure tens of thousands of traders, around the world, and the trades is one thing, but also I guess the coaching and the mentoring we really don't discuss that much.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to call it coaching, but to make a mistake when you're trading with a group of 300 people, you really have to go out of your own way. Because you have the resources right there. All you have to do is pop in and give me your idea before you take it. If I like it, I'll take it with you. I'm begging you to tell me your trade ideas before you take them. A, you'll give me an idea. B, you get 300 opinions right away. You think we're going to miss a potential problem area if 300 people look at your trade? And if you don't want to say it's you, message me. You can pop into the live room and say, or the chat room and say, hey, I'm thinking of getting long this. Instead of, I got a message the other day that had, 13 stocks, maybe 6 or 7 of them, they wanted to try to sell covered calls because they were down on all of them. So I probably could have helped them pick better entry points. But I spent a couple of hours mimicking their portfolio and saying what I can sell and what I cannot sell. I promised to show you a Tesla trade. By the way, these are the stocks that I was using to get the covered calls on. So when Tesla fell and it got to the low 100s, I got everybody now on board with the idea that Tesla sucks and it's going to zero. Suddenly, when I warned when it was way up there, nobody listened, and now they were listening, the same people. So one guy came in and says, hey, I'm looking to buy a Tesla put for May at $60. What do you think? I said, I will sell you that put. In fact, I went out and sold it and another one. I sold a May put and a March put. And I collected $350 for the May one and $210, $220 for the March one. So what does that mean? Okay, let's put it into, how would I keep going to that stupid thing? Okay, here. So let's, Tesla, and he came to me, I forgot what exactly level, somewhere in here. It wasn't the bottom. I guarantee you it wasn't the bottom, but it was pretty freaking low. It lost the 140, 130. And I know that it could go to 88 and 78 and still be okay and still be normal because of how fast it rallied. But I don't think they're going there now. So, but anyway, and even if they did, I'm fine. So I said to somebody out there on the day, he said, Nick, I'm going to buy a 60 put. So my advice was, I will sell you that put. And I went out and sold it and I collected $350. So I was long Tesla by getting paid $350. So how do I lose money? If Tesla did this and stayed below 56.50, my break-even point was 56.50. I break even. I start losing money here. This position will show a lot of losses on paper as it's falling. And one day they will assign me shares. And that position will disappear and take all the losses with it. I'll keep the $350 per contract. So if I did 10, that would have been $3,500. If I did 1, that's $350. So that was my position on it. And then I told him, if you want to short Tesla from here, you're not wrong. It still has potential downside. So the better trade on this one would be to, let's say the guy wanted to put in $600 into this trade. So he would have to buy 2 of these puts. I said, take that $600 and buy one here, because this one, same amount of money, same risk size, the potential for winning is that much better than here. So you don't need a huge drop to make money, because you can guess right, and yeah, it's going to go lower and lose money on that. And he did. If he did this and he didn't listen to me, he lost money, because I made money on it. I made a lot of money on it. And how did I make money on it? Nothing, just time. I clearly didn't catch the bottom, but I didn't need to catch the bottom. And I bought it when people were panicking. So I sold puts to somebody who panicked. I basically told somebody, hey, buddy, I know you have Tesla. You're afraid. You want to insure your Tesla stock at 60. I got you. Anytime you want to sell them to me between now and March, I'm your guy. And I collected money for that. So they're sleeping knowing that they bought insurance on the stock and they can ditch it for 60. and I make money from if it doesn't go there. It's like I'm an insurance company, and if he doesn't file a claim, I win. If he files a claim, I own shares so much cheaper. So that's what it means to sell a put. So don't go out and sell puts because you think so easy. It's not easy. You have to pick the right stock at the right time and avoid the easy mistakes. This was an easy win. It was a no-brainer for me. Easy win. Okay.
Oh, Nick, earnings are coming up. I know
Yep.
that you already have strategies set up for earnings with the members. What are you looking forward to these earnings that are coming?
Microsoft will set the tone. Netflix made sure that the tone is not negative. Thank God. So I said I was afraid for Netflix. Okay, so here's how I played the earnings. I don't have anything against Netflix company or anything. So I was afraid for a super negative reaction on the earnings because what I heard from the CEO, I didn't have concrete evidence, and I made it very clear as I was bearish the earnings. So what I did is I bought a put when it was rallying, and then it fell before the earnings. And just on this big negative day before the earnings, I said, I'm closing my puts. They were up big. I don't remember exactly what, but I wasn't the only one in the room. Somebody said, I'm closing my puts. And that reminded me that I have puts. I was like, thanks, Ryan. Let me go check on mine. And mine were up big. I was like, thank you. Boom. I ditched them. I didn't catch the very bottom. Okay. But it dipped on the day before the earnings, and then it rallied the morning thereafter. So I exited my bearish position before the earnings. I was trying to make money on a trade. It paid me before the event. I got out at the risk of missing out on a potential debacle, which never came. So in hindsight, I did the right thing. But even if I hadn't, I wouldn't have cried about it. So what I'm doing, so they set the no negative tone. So I don't think that Netflix rallying says that Microsoft should also rally. At least it says that we don't have that reaction already built in. Like if Netflix had rallied and fell, that would have been terrible, because then the bears will say, oh, Microsoft is going to rally and fall, and so and so and so. So now we're going into Microsoft, and Microsoft is an excellent company that has no reason to fall all on its own, but over the reaction to the earnings, it's a crapshoot. So I will take advantage of that crapshoot. You can spend your money guessing which way it's going to go. Me, I will try to make money off of your reaction tomorrow, the day after. So I think it's easier to make money off of the people's reaction, especially if the people's reaction is wrong. Now, if you're dying to be long and you want to be partially long into it using calls, fine, but you're guessing, you don't know.
So
make sure to put time on the clock.
You apply a lot of investment psychology into these trades, and just the approach you take.
The approach involves psychology, but that's because it's homework. We do homework. We know where the lines are. Other people wing it, and they go by emotions. They feel good. They want to buy a call, and that's probably when they shouldn't. They should buy a put. If you feel like you want to do something, stop and consider doing the opposite. It's not always the correct, but at least stop and say, wait, am I making a mistake? Like somebody buying Microsoft here. If they had just stopped and said, last time it was here, it failed miserably, and the one before it, and the one before it, they would have stopped themselves from going long here. Why did they go long? Because it felt good. It had rallied from here to here that day, whatever that day was. Wow, that was fantastic. And then, rug pull, right? So emotions get you into bad spots when you should have looked left on the chart and said, wait, that was a disaster. And look, this level has been in contention. Oh my God, look how many times this is a problem level or a turning point. This is not the place to get long. So just use your look up here. Not a coincidence. We're coming into it. Now, you take this out. It looks like an inverse head and shoulders of sort, except for that thing. That was horrific. So let me show you why. Now we're talking technicals. Whoops. So if there wasn't this spike here, then you would have had the nice, clean inverse head and shoulders right there. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And if they go above it, come back to here, upside potential up the wazoo right there. Now you have this guy. It ruins the whole thing. It just puts another line right there, a potential fake out. So when you break out, So how do you deal with this? You buy the dip into support and you be long already, and you trim and you leave runners for the breakout. Or if you're fast enough, you buy the rip. I never do that. Let's say it breaks out. Almost always they come back down and touch footing. So buy the call on the way down. How does that work? If you're buying a call here, all the calls are going to be super hot. Everybody's buying them. But if you buy them on red ticks, they would be a lot colder. So you're going to buy them cheaper. So if I see a call and it costs $1, I'll put a bid to buy it for 80 cents or 70 cents. When you have a couple of red ticks, you get filled. So you get filled long on the way down, and you have the opportunity to ride it back up. So we make that point in the live room like 5-6 times a day.
Right. It's just important to note that this is good for people that are day trading options, people that are scalping, and for people.
Yeah, but that concept translates on any time frame. This 2-hour chart, what I just said, works on a 2-hour chart.
So explain a little bit. You do a daily iron condor. We've already explained what an iron condor is, how it works, but what are the logistics of that in the chat room when you do that for the members?
It's super easy to do. They look like this, and we do them over and over and over again. Last week, I think if somebody did this one, they lost money on the credit call sites because the market rallied. How much money they lost is up to them. And most of the ones that got caught with the credit call spread, they punted it to Monday. So we will deal with it in Monday, trying to get out with maximum gains. Or without maximum losses. But all the ones before that, they worked. And I've had some, I call them, I'm not going to mention them now, but they're super tight iron condors. Like they pay $2 on a risk of only $3. That is a huge payout, but it's usually based on data. So I have the ability to read the options table and tell you where price is going to be. So on expiration day, so on Monday, if I'm looking at the SPY chart on Monday, I can look at the open interest and the volume and tell you where price should be. Friday, that didn't work because they went ballistic. But most days, you can pinpoint it within $20. Now, if you can, on the SPX, if you can pinpoint the SPX close within $20, that is a piggy bank every day for an iron condor that wins. What is the opposite of the iron condor? You buying a strangle with spreads. You buy a put spread and you buy a call spread. I wouldn't do that.
So Nick, there's a ton of people here that probably are trying to trade, but maybe they're busy with a full-time job. Are there specific trades and strategies for those 9-to-5 folks?
Yes. That's what I like to do. I like to take a trade that has 2 to 3 weeks on the clock, maybe even a month, and I don't have to sweat it a lot. These iron condors that play out every day, I've shared ones that are a month out, like a month ago, and now they're dying. Like the one died last week. We didn't even look at it. It was based on 3,500 and 4,280 or whatever, iron condor, SPX. You didn't even need to look at it. I just shared another one last week or 2 weeks ago that is a month out. And yesterday or Friday, somebody asked me for one that's a couple of weeks after that as well. So we keep throwing them out. And they're super boring and super stupid, but they make money. I have somebody that's been with me for 10 years. And all he does is iron condors on the SPX. Every once in a while, he puts on the RUT as well. He makes 6 figures on those alone. He has a big account, but it is doable. So you don't need to know where stocks are going. You need to know where markets are not likely to go. And that's like everywhere else. So everybody's looking for the disaster. Everybody's looking for the super rip. You take a bet that bets against both of the super extremes, and you're going to win most times. Every once in a while, you'll have a loss, but don't let it go to maximum loss.
Right. So you're looking for high probabilities of success. Let's say
yes,
this is gambling.
Yes. Trades that are no brainers and don't require a lot of skill. You said it. You read the write up from your work at home. When you come home, you say, okay, I like this. I'm going to take it tomorrow. You take it tomorrow and you monitor it. And you come back and say, hey, Nick, that trade, I took it. It's a little bit under pressure. Is it time to close it? I'll say, it's in my hands. If it's in my hands, I wouldn't close it. Or yeah, you should close it and reset it for some other time. Right. And those are the boring trades that deliver 12 to 15% yield on risk.
Which is really good. And now here's the thing.
It's awesome. It's good. It's awesome.
you can private message Nick. So basically, here's the thing. Everybody in this chat room is different, right? We do not have a cookie cutter approach, one size fits all. What we do have here is a la carte, basically, because everybody here has a different account size, a different risk profile, different schedules that they can trade around. And this is really why, for example, like if you have a really intense, really intense job from 9 to 5, you can't be day trading. And if you do, you're definitely going to lose money. So these are some of the little mistakes as well that you can avoid by having a private coach, private mentor that can work with you individually on your specific goals, right? Some people want to make $100 a day, some people 250, 200. And that's kind of where you really get in the road to getting where you want to be as a trader, working with Nick.
Yep, absolutely. Everything you said is perfect. Somebody earlier asked me, how do you find support and resistance? Look left. Look left and see where it failed before. That's resistance. That's resistance. And then if you're actively trading, you can drill into lower time frame and get more granular. Like we trade on 30 seconds and 15-second charts. I'm not going to show you resistance and support. You see, like here, you see that as your primary resistance. This pretty good support, gap open, base. So if I go to 5 minutes, now you see different sets of numbers right there. You see shorter term resistance and longer term resistance. If you go to 1 minute, you get pretty choppy. Whoa, now we have a lot of information. Look at these 3 candles right there. Yeah, those are tails, not good, and tails. So now we have a tightening battle. We have sellers in force, buyers in force coming to a punch. Who is this? Microsoft? So let's see where we open on Monday. So I've been in leap calls, which I feel are safe. I don't know why you feel the leap calls are safe. They're just calls. I wouldn't feel safe in anything. So there's risk in everything. That's why we get paid. You should, if I buy calls that are out in time, leap calls are calls that are just old. They have time on the clock. I would immediately sell calls against them to put them to work, like covered calls. I would never own a leap call without selling a call against it. That's just me. So we're like an hour and a half in. I've got 5 more minutes in me, and then I have to go because I get yelled at by families.
All right, folks. So let's go ahead and maybe just kind of get some, maybe a quick ticker here, Nick. You can give them a little taste of the chat room.
Baba. Okay, Baba. Okay, Baba is, first of all, I don't trade it anymore. I did buy a put in it to short it against prior failure. So that put did not go well. When I said I'm buying a put, I didn't say risk my life on it. And I did say stop out at 30% loss. Now, if I didn't hit a stop out yet, I want to see how it handles these 2 candles. So this is a company that can rally to 180. I realize that. So the next dip, I would exit a put if I had it, because I don't think it's going to come down to where I thought it was going to come down, which is 91. But so the next sizable dip, I would exit. Now, this is a headline stock, and it's been sold based on a headline for too long. The value of the stock is so much better than what it is. So even if it dips, I think it could base it. The best thing for the stock, if it falls down to 91 like I wanted to, come back and take that level out. The target will then become 175-ish, because the inverse head and shoulder will be about this tall. And would have reversed. Remember, how do you swim out of a riptide? Sideways. Look how much sideways, and then take that out. Then you can build an ascending channel, and then you start buying dips, buying dips, buying dips. Not this too much here. You understand? So I'm not bearish, Baba, but I did say I would try a put, and it didn't work very well. So I've got nothing to hide. I'll share my successes and my failures with you. But that's the logic. The company is super successful, but it plays in the field that's full of landmines as headlines are concerned. So I don't know what Xi is going to say next.
Right. President
Xi. So be careful.
Hey man, listen, I launched a quick poll to both on the YouTube and on the Zoom, right? Mm-hmm. will the markets open higher or lower on Monday? And this
Okay,
is
I can
pretty
tell you one
tight.
thing. I can tell you one thing about that. So Friday was a trend day. So there was a solid trend from start to finish, basically. It is very rare to have two trend days in a row. So my guess is we either open down or up and then meander throughout. So we either gap up or down and spend the day chopping around that range. How up or down? I have no idea. I will look tonight at 3 o'clock in California, my time. The futures will open, and a couple of hours later, I'll do the setup. I'll share the video, and I'll tell you my plan, what my plan is for the rest of the week, including headlines, including earnings. What am I going to sell? What behavior am I in? What is my algo logic? So we'll see. Whatever you should do, you should turn off the news and don't look for trading ideas from CNBC. The news is the news is designed to engage your sentiment. It's designed to engage your because that's how they get you. Nobody's going to watch the news if somebody says, you know what, there's nothing really going on here today, but you should hang around and watch our boring show anyway. No, that's not what they're going to say. They're going to say whatever it takes to make whatever the content is sound incredibly exciting. I always use the Fed minutes, the all important Fed minutes. Folks, the Fed minutes are not important. They happened 3 weeks before when they actually get released, and the Fed told us what they decided. The Fed answered our questions, and then the Fed went ahead one by one, had at least one or two speeches between then and the Fed minutes. What could the Fed minutes possibly still tell us that we don't already know and beat down to hell? So the media is not evil. It's just designed to elicit your emotions. And if you use your emotions to trade, you're going to make mistakes. That's it.
Right. So basically, it looks like it's still cut in half, Nick. 52% of the people here say higher, 48% say lower.
50-50. So what do? Nothing. You play the action after it starts on Monday.
Right. And for those that do want to trade with Nick, basically, this is what it would feel like almost, right? It's
right. So I'll give you an idea. We were long into this rip. Okay. So my question was on Monday, where do I get out? When do I book my calls? So I booked my calls. I was long in the IWM. I booked them at the open. I did right. I was long in the SPX. I booked them near the mid-morning. I had a big win, but I could have had a little bit more. But it is to be, we positioned ourselves right. My message was before the week started last week, my video on Monday night, because Monday we were closed in the markets, was I wanted to be long into Thursday or Friday whenever the dip happened, and the dip happened early. So Wednesday, everything fell. I started lining up my longs, and I think we fell because of Japan. That's my honest opinion. Something broke in the Japanese bond market, and it happened about a month ago as well. And then 2-3 days, within the next 2 to 3 days, we had the mega caps get sold off violently to cover margin calls. That I'm not Wall Street. That's me guessing. It's just too much of a coincidence. We wake up to a headline, Japanese blah, 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 blah. And then 2-3 days later, we get blowups in the mega caps. Anyway, it's a well choreographed machine. Don't trust Wall Streeters. So be vigilant.
Yeah. Well, look, Nick, I appreciate your time here. I know you've always, put out a lot of time for the folks. It's true commitment. Fact that you're there from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and then Sundays for 3 hours. It's above and beyond. It is
twice on Sunday.
Definition of hand holding, I would say. Like by far. This is carrying over your shoulder, not even hand holding.
I love it. And if you love something, you put effort into it above and beyond what's demanded. Whatever the cost is to join this, if you're serious about trading and you don't join a group like ours, if you don't want ours, that's fine. Go find another one. You're not going to find one for the prices that you're getting that has somebody in there doing this moderation all day for you every day. You're not going to find it. It's not going to happen. If you do find it, let me know. I've seen services out there that charge almost $200 a month, and they don't have any live like this. And it's definitely a different environment. It's hard to get into it. There are a lot of great services out there, but we have a good offering, and you should try it out.
Nick Chahine, thanks a lot for being here. I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. I'm going to stick around here and show you guys the live room, some of the videos, and how you can use it. Nick, thanks a lot. That is Nick Chahine, everybody. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos here that Nick posted for his members, but for the people that joined also, I want to show you how this works, right? So you have your dashboard where you have a table of trades. On that, you have the agenda, which is what's happening for the week. It's very important to know. This is all included, right, in this stuff. The economic numbers, we got GDP numbers coming up, right? This is very important. We got some stock splits, if anybody does trade that. GDP, PPI numbers, unemployment rate, job applications ratio. This is going to be an interesting one to look at. Retail sales for the people that are going to be looking at, trading Ross, Target, all those types of retail, kind of companies. So this is important. ADP, non-farm employment change. You have to know what's happening out there, right? Below that, you have different news bites, right? Now, this is called Why Is It Moving? And basically, we have a department of people. Big shout out to Randy. Okay, so everybody give a shout out to Randy. All right, so Randy and the team there, what they do is that they scan the markets and they basically flag companies like stocks, right, that are moving, that there is price action related to a piece of news. Let's say, as an example, Amazon, announces a partnership and it clearly is, moving the price action in Amazon. That will appear in this section here, right? So basically somebody went into the stock, looked at the news, and basically we matched that price action with that piece of news. Remember, Benzinga is a news company, right? Like as far as stocks and finance, that sort of stuff. So that will be there, right? This is other stuff, trade news. Again, this is just an upgrade that we did to the platform. And big shout out to Vin, Tammy, and Neil for helping with all this stuff, right? With all this upgrade, all right? This is the long way from where we come. But remember the 20 email trade alerts a month, you will be able to see them here, starter, enhanced, ultimate. These are the 20 trades per month by email that you'll get. And the chat, which is really the most important part here. There's a couple channels here. You can private message Nick. So as an example, I have Nick here, right? And you can look him up. For those that are members, you can also do this, right? You have a search box there and just type in Nick Chahine and you're going to see him there, right? Users, you can also type anybody else, right? If you're trying to, Doc, a great member there, you can just boom, pop in there. Doc and I, he already messaged me there. So you can see that you can message other members as well. And with Nick, as you can see, I just wanted to give you an example, right? That, you can actually immediately communicate with Nick, talk about your portfolio, talk about trade setups, about your particular account, what you're trying to achieve with trading, how you can do that. And there you will find coaching, mentoring, education, which is basically between you and Nick. This is private. It's not for the other members to watch. But then in the inner circle chat, this is where everybody's at. Right now, there's 85 users online. And you can see that the conversation here is pretty broad. We talk about a lot of different things, different types of data that we're analyzing. What's up, Erwin? What's going on? Let's see. Okay, so this is where everybody's at, right? The inner circle chat, including Nick. Then in Nick's important messages, only Nick can post here. And you will get a push notification if you download the Benzinga app on your phone, you log in with your normal credentials, and you will get a push notification of this post, right? Ethereum trade update, 18% win. I mean, we're trading crypto as well. You can make money in different themes, right? This is a morning commentary, but more importantly, always make sure when you get here in the morning, look for this post. Morning note, you have a market commentary. We're talking about Netflix, and this is the live session, okay? So you click here, live session, join free conference call. You download that thing. It's basically like Zoom, and there's a passcode there. It changes every week. You also have every index filtered out, every index, SPY, Qs, IWM, and for the people that trade futures, right? Trade updates, you'll get all that stuff. And for the Sunday session, okay, this is for the Sunday session. Every member is able to submit as many stocks as they want for Nick to review. You just click here, you get on this form, and you're all good to go. You put in your takers, right? That's every Sunday. That's the Sunday session we were talking about, right? So the other thing, these are sound notifications. If you have the chat room open in your computer, laptop, like I do, you can basically filter out, which channels you want to get sound notifications on, right? So Nick's important messages, always have that on. If you have a private conversation with Nick, you can put an alert on that private chat, okay? Also, you do get push notifications on your phone sent to you directly. So all these things from Nick's important messages channel, all of these will come to your phone, letting you know that Nick has posted it, and you can watch it from your phone as well. All right. So before we move on, right, I just need to know if anybody does have any questions on the live room before I can go ahead and show you a couple of videos from Nick Chahine. I'll give you guys a couple minutes there. All right. So on YouTube, people think the market will open higher on Monday. All right. It's going to be interesting to see that. Right. That is correct. So, okay, if we don't have questions on the live room, let's go ahead. Mohammed, good question. How do you give signals? So the 20 email trade alerts per month are sent by email. And you can sign up for text message alerts if you want. You sign up for them, it's free. The chat room itself, the live room, all of these posts from Nick's private channel here, these will go to your phone as a push notification. So it doesn't matter where, as long as you have internet and a phone, you'll be able to see what he's posting, and you can make the trade right away from your phone. We're talking about a couple minutes. This is where technology is working for you, right? We got these push notifications out there. Shout out to Vin. And it's great because it completes the package here for you, right? Giving you a full, rounded approach as far as giving you what you're looking for here. Let's see, Ravon, can you show where to navigate to signals? Okay, so on the left side, right here, we'll go to your dashboard, right? Well, you'll have everything set up there. And then as an example, let's say I go to the ultimate trades. You'll always be able to come here and go through the actual trades. Let's go ahead and look at this, right? So you see all the trades, how it pops up, expand report, you can view the post, right? And this is actually an improvement on the app where you can expand the report and read the analysis instead of having to go through each individual post in a separate page. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically being able to look at all of these reports on a drop-down basis like this. So this came from some feedback that a lady gave us about how it would be easier for them to navigate the actual trade alerts, right? You see that we can still keep going, expanding the reports, expanding reports, I think until we get to the bottom of the page, right? But you can see that everything here, we're talking about a couple clicks away, right? The enhanced trades, same thing. All right, so that's the chat. Let me go ahead and show you some of the videos here really quick. This, well, besides, right, the video I'll show you, but these are the educational videos that Nick has. What are calls, what are puts, what's a spread, what's a credit put spread, how to use it, when to use it, how to basically operate the trade, right? Then you have risk management, right? How to manage these trades, when to book or set a stop loss, when and how to book profits. Very, very important. All right, which type of trade is best, how to pick what type of trade. And this goes back to understanding all the types of trades that you have available to you as an options trader. Buying calls, selling them, doing spreads, iron condors or butterflies or diagonals. You can do these and customize them, right? Not just with a daily expiration, but also with a weekly, monthly, several months out, depending on what you're trying to achieve, if you're bullish on a company or not. But basically, this is where you will get that information in these videos, right? These two in the bottom. Now, let's close this out. Let's go to the chat room. And let's see all right, so the video from Sunday is here, right? This is one of the two videos. Let's go ahead and take a look at this so you guys get a sense of how the Sunday analysis Sessions, go.
All right, so this is video 1 of 2. I think I'm going to break them up in 2 pieces. And I will have a list this time. Last week I ran out of time. This is the list for today. And we'll start with Apple. These are alphabetical. I want to say something right off the top. I'm starting to get questions that gives me the impression that people are chasing and another group of people trying to short. I think you're both wrong. You shouldn't do anything without lines on the chart. And we are going into the earnings season. So I want you to be open-minded at the other side of the trade you're trying to take, and that's it. It's very simply stated. So something rallied too much, that doesn't mean it can't double, and it could drop. It's right up there, 2 clicks above you, Gint. Okay, so this is the scenarios that I'm getting. It feels like people want to chase, and another group of people that wants to short because of beliefs and sentiment. One believes that it's running too fast because of the economy, and the other people think like we just learned something new that erased all the risk. So I think you're both potentially wrong. This is just normal price action inside of a crazy year. And I'll start with Apple, and also we start earnings next week. I believe the biggest one is Microsoft on Tuesday. There might be Tesla on Thursday. Microsoft will move Apple in sympathy. And if you're looking to trade Microsoft for the earnings, I would suggest you trade something like Apple for next week, not this coming week, but the week following, because the premiums for those calls and puts that you're going to buy, if that's what you want to do, will hold better than ones for this week. Microsoft will give you the better win if you guess, and that's the biggest thing, guess the correct direction. We don't know the quality. The quality of the report will not be indicative of how the company stock price will move overnight. That is a fact. It's not an opinion. The quality of report matters long term, but the initial knee-jerk reaction is all about expectations. If you're expecting a great report and it comes out good, you're going to be disappointed and sell the stock. So a great report could definitely result in a drop in the stock, whereas a good report will result in a drop in the stock. Whereas if you're expecting horrific things and it comes out just bad, regular bad, the stock may rally in relief that it wasn't horrific. So the quality of the report is not indicative. I always use Apple as an example. It hasn't delivered a bad quarter in years, yet it more than half the direction is down on the earnings. Okay, speaking of Apple, it has an easy breakout line, which shouldn't be that easy, and pretty solid support. Last week, I asked for Apple to be above 134, 135. They delivered. Now, if it goes above this prior fail, which is 139, I think it can get to 146 or 148. I wouldn't buy calls just for that. If I'm long Apple, I can stay long Apple. If I'm looking to get into Apple, I want to be mindful that the reaction to Microsoft will actually move Apple in sympathy. So if the direction is down, Apple will dip. If that happens, I will get long Apple as a trade for the earnings, and hopefully it rallies before the earnings, and then I can get out and re-engage after the earnings. Hey, Luis and Scotty. Okay, so this is the plan. Buy the rip or buy the dip. I prefer to buy dips. There's plenty of support, and Apple is looking to erase the scenario that happened to Tesla, AMD, Nvidia, and the market, where it could not recover a weekly neckline and it goes down to the 115, 112. So far, it's averting that, and it will be a market leader this week, or up or down. All right, so what is this? AbbVie, it is coming into support. You can go long it here. It doesn't mean that the bounce will not fail. I think there'll be sellers around 156 to 158. So the bounces will find sellers, and this pattern may repeat down here. I didn't draw it, but it does. It's there. The target too is a little bit below, so better entry lower, and I wouldn't short it here. Airbnb, so I said to a few people to repeat the credit put spread that worked 3 times. One time was challenged, but it worked, and then I think I renewed it 2 times. Up here, it's not an easy entry, although it does have a trigger. So if it goes to 105, maybe it gets to 115. But I would rather engage with it on a dip from here. I wouldn't short it though. It's a successful business. This is a gap fill area, so maybe it meanders, maybe it drops to here and comes back, and if it takes this out, maybe it gets to here. Okay, I don't know what this is. It's a realty company. It's stuck in the middle of the range. There is nothing that you can tell from the stock except from the chart, except that it's stuck in a range. This is a pointy range, 14.5, 14.6. This as well. So rallies, I think, will be faced with sellers, and why not come back down to here? They're fighting for control over a long time. When you send me a ticker like this, I don't know what you expect me to say. Go ahead and buy it. I would never say that. Go ahead and short it. I've got nothing to relate to. So in this case, this stock is too high to chase and too hot to short. I would walk away. I would forget it exists. Down here, maybe. This is, if somebody's looking to buy stock in this one, it's got good bounce off the lows, but this is not an obvious entry point because you're going into a place where they failed. So you waited too long for an easy entry, maybe on a dip. So if I'm looking to buy shares, or buy calls, or however you trade, I would rather get long into here. So maybe one more dip, $8, $10, $15, something like that. It could come up to 261, but if I'm looking to invest for the long term and I take an entire position here, I may be making a mistake. It's not a gigantic mistake, but it's not an easy entry here. AMD, somebody's looking to short it with a credit call spread. What do you know that I don't? If you do a credit call spread, I would urge you to consider a credit put spread as well. And I would avoid the earnings. It's a great company.
All right, folks. And that was just a little bit of the session, right, that goes on Sunday. This is from today. We're talking about, I think, 150 plus tickers. You do get this included. It's part of what you get with Nick, including the 20 email trade alerts per month and the live room. This is the live chat room, right? But then the live session is separate. And it's not open because right now the market is closed, but it's typically open right here, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. every single trading day of the week and Sundays. So that's everything you get, 5 to 10 trade alerts in the chat room with push notifications if you download the app. I want to thank everybody here for participating, engaging, for being part of Nick Shahine's room, which is a great community. I've signed up a lot of the people there, and I can tell you they're very serious about trading. It is a workplace. It is where people go to work and make income. People that treat this like a career, not like a casino, right? Because that's the mentality that you want to have. And if you're a new trader, I think this is perfect for you because you will avoid a lot of silly mistakes that you could have avoided that turn up to be, the most expensive ones, right? You lose the majority amount of your account when you're new, right? But if you can skip that with a mentor, with a group, with a community, that's going to help you out, right? It's going to save you a lot of money, number one, and two, help you become a better trader. So you're not trading alone, you're not vacuum trading, and you pretty much take this as an investment in yourself, right? In your trading career, in your trading journey, with the community that we have here. And I'm pretty sure, I personally think that we have the best options trading community out there in the world, completely 100%. The people in there are amazing. Everybody helps each other out. If you're a new trader, don't be shy. Everybody there is on the same page. We're here to learn, make money with Nick, and basically become a better trader every day, right? That's the whole point of being in this community, giving you all these features, this technology, the push notifications, the Sunday sessions. All that stuff is meant to help you become a better trader. That's the goal, right? My goal is that you become a successful trader and that you start making some good money in the chat room. You're going to love it. The people are great. They're going to help you out. And all of these people that you see on the Inner Circle chat, they're all real people. There's no bots. There's no fake accounts. Everybody there. This is Doc. He's a great member there. Helps all the new people. There's a lot of great folks out there that will help you out as well. These are just members that love the chat room. And you basically build relationships with these people, right? Everybody's helping each other out. There's no, and sometimes, look, you just have to put the ego aside. You have to put your ego on one side and just realize, hey, I would definitely benefit from some help. from coaching, from mentoring, from the strategies that Nick provides you. And keep in mind that you can private message Nick as well here on the top left. You just have to search it, Nick Chahine. Right? If you want to talk with another member. I don't know, there's a bunch of Ryans here. I do know Ryan McNamara, but you can message any individual user there, right? And you can search messages from the chat room. Right, I've just searched Apple. You can see a lot of posts about Apple here. So this blue chat room is the one that's open 24/7. Revant, one last question. What's the name of the app in the App Store? Yes, it's the one that says Benzinga. So you download that and you make sure that you log in with your credentials that you have your subscriptions with, and then it connects. And then every time a trade comes out, even any of these 20 emails per month, they will come up as a push notification. Also the chat, whenever Nick is posting on Nick's important messages right here. So every trade update, like for example, this one, selling the close, ETH, 18% win. I mean, you could have gotten that on your phone. It doesn't matter if you're at work or in the bathroom or in the living room or in the garden, wherever, you get that notification everywhere, right? So make sure you're logging in with the credentials. But folks, I think this kind of wraps it up here. It's been a great session. This is basically what Nick does the entire day, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. in the live room, right? So any questions, we put all that stuff in the chat. Make sure that you check that out on Zoom. And if you have questions, reach out. We'll be here. But thanks a lot, folks. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you tomorrow in the chat room. Big shout out to all you guys. Let's go properly. All right.